Hello, and welcome. This is a tutorial for custom schedules with the T3 Scheduler. This version is 0.96.3. This is made by a very good Discord user by the name of Jarek. And I'm also using Discord user Wolf's Autoscraper. If you still have the very first iteration of his scrapper, this method still works. As I know that he tried to do some updates to it, and the scheduler, the Autoscraper, basically no longer worked. But I'm going to go through several different ways how you can use this or do it manually even, or a manual configuration. So basically what we're going to do is that we're going to go into our schedule, our normal schedules. Let's see. I'll just go in through this way. Basically what we're going to do in order to set up custom schedules, we are going to set up airport. We're going to go into the field there. We're going to go into airports. And then whatever airport you want to do, I normally do LGA or LaGuardia for my my testing. We're going to click into databases. And from here, what we're going to do, as you see right here, I already have one that's called MW-Schedule. Basically, we're going to, if you want to use real world stuff, we're going to make a copy of Niger's designs. We're going to copy it, and then we're just going to paste it back in here. So that way then we actually have, and then we're going to rename it to whatever we want, as like I said, mine is MW-Schedule. So I'm going to delete that one out of there just not to confuse the system. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and you see I have a couple text files in here. Basically what we're going to do is, the way how this scheduler works is that you have to have a separate file for arrivals and a separate file for departures. So this is from January 27th. And this is basically one of my older files that I normally just keep here in the backup. But we're going to open up the schedule, and it's going to look something like this on a notepad. Now let's just maximize it out and everything, and it tells you how to set it all up. So basically, as you can tell, this is not the this is from February 20th, I believe. This is the schedule for LaGuardia on February 20th. So it gives you the airline types, their call number, the airline that they're with, the operator that they're with, and all that. You can delete all this out and create your own custom schedule if you want. Just make sure you follow this format. But onto the meat and potatoes. So basically with the T3 Scheduler, you're going to select the airport. Okay, the airport database. Now you can make a custom schedule for the default. The thing is that with the default, you kind of want to make another copy of the default folder, paste it in here as well. And I'm just going to call this one, just for this term and everything, default MW. So now I have this folder. The one thing that this thing doesn't do, it doesn't auto-update the database when you update it here. So you're going to have to close this out. Go to wherever you have the scheduler installed at, technically. I guess we can say quote unquote installed. Reopen it. And now we're going to select LGA, and all of a sudden my default is there. So we're going to do that, read default. And then we're going to click read original schedule. So this is the original default schedule. Now, let's say I want to do just a certain number of flights, yada yada, whatnot. Basically, we're going to take 2 hours. Let's say we want to start at 9 in the morning. All right, we want to have we kind of want to be like an easy program, so we're going to do 50 flights per hour. Now, the one thing that he's added into this, which I'm very happy about, we can have consistent number of flight number and arrival and departures per hour. So whatever this is, we can generate a schedule based off of this. So let's say I want more departures than arrivals. I'll set it up to something maybe like 70-30, something of that nature. Generate schedule, as you can tell, is generated down here. Plot new schedule, and now all of a sudden, you see how this is. And it's already imported to the MW scheduling. Now let's go back to database. Let's go back to the default. And we should open up the schedule. And all of a sudden, I've set it up for 9 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Here's all my arrivals. Here are all my departures. And you notice they're all the default. Now, if you have the real world color and stuff, you would basically set it up to the one that you copied out of Nigeria's design, which for me is MW schedule. We're going to read the original. And this is that file that I was showing you from 127. This is just my little clip that I put it in the middle of the night because I was trying to do something. I was trying to test something out. But let's go back to databases over here. Let's go back here. All right, let's say I want to do the same thing, except I want it to be hectic as could be. So I put in 80 flights. I put in 5 GAs. But I don't want to mess with this. I don't want to mess with my starting time. And I want kind of almost like an even number of arrivals and departures. Generate new schedule. And then all of a sudden, you have to refresh it. So you have to click plot original twice in order to refresh it. Now all of a sudden you see that I have 80, roughly a little bit more than 80. I have about 85 flights an hour right here. But let's go right here to the schedule CV. Now you see all of a sudden I have an even number from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. of arrivals and an even number of departures. Not only that, but now my GA file is set up. How do I want to show this? There we go. And now you see that I have all my GAs. Now LXJ, I believe, is LuxJet. I don't know why that's sitting here as Lima X-Ray Juliet, but it is. And basically, you can shorten these to the way how you want to say it when you see it. So normally, the way how it works in real world is that the American General Aviation call signs normally start with November or N. These are like how this one is right here. These right here are jets that are associated with an airline in some way, shape, or form. All right. Now, we're going to go to this option. Let's say I want to just create a variable flight and I want to mix around my values. Now, all of a sudden, you see that this option opens up when I click on that. So I'm going to click on Flights and Arrivals and Departures Hourly Profile. It brings up this screen right here. Basically, I can tell the game to have, okay, like the first hour I want to have 90 flights. I want to have the max. It always goes 10 above your max. The GAs, 5 above their max. So let's say I want the first hour to be really, really nutty and everything, and I want it to be really nutty on departures. So I would say something like this, I would, if I'm really challenging myself, I'll set up to like 90-10. And then I would kind of like back down this to maybe like 70. Back it down to 5. And then do more arrivals on the second hour. So something like 70-30. We're going to apply this. And now all of a sudden we're going to generate new schedule. We're going to refresh the plot new schedule again. Now all of a sudden you see that it's changed to what you told it in this little area right here. So now I have a bunch of GA departures. I have very minimal arrivals. I have a lot of airline departures. But you see in the second hour, if I can make it through this first hour, you see in the second hour, I have very little departures, a lot of arrivals, very few GA departures, and then a lot of GA arrivals. Let's go look over here to the schedule now. And it should dictate that I have almost about 81 departures. So that starts on line 3. Let's just scroll down here to when it changes, which would be right here. All right, so about 57 of my flights, roughly, are departures. Let's look at the arrivals. Actually, this is the first hour that we want to look at, technically. So, yeah, so like the first hour. You see here, it's only to line 11. So, these are my departures for this scheduling right here. Or no, these are my arrivals. Never mind. I forgot arrivals are first. That's my fault. So these are my arrivals. You notice it's very few and far in between. And then all of a sudden, it just picks up to almost like every minute on the minute on the second hour, like it's supposed to. Now, departures. So my 9 departure. Let's see what we got here. We start at line 62. Where do we go down to? We go down all the way to 141. So almost, I would say that's actually pretty accurate right here. That's pretty much almost 80 plus flights that are departing out of LaGuardia. And then you see the low number, which should be the rest of them, which should be about 20. All right. And there's the GA file now. As you see, we get a Delta Romeo Lima 33 Quebec, Quebec. Ooh. That's a fun. Thank God that's near the end of the day, too. So, otherwise, that's a fun one to say. But as you see, it updates both files, the schedule and the GA. Now, the real reason why I'm making this video is this import schedule. So it's going to bring up this prompt screen. I'm going to go over here back to the Autoscheduler. If you have the first version of Wolf's schedule scrapper, you could do it this way. So we're going to type in KLGA. It's going to bring up Thursday flights. And I think I did that wrong by typing in the space there. So let's cancel that out. I think that's just something that the command prompt has. Nope. So, okay, apparently this is part of the issue that he was having with the very first update. I believe was coming back as 0 valid arrivals, yada, 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 for Thursday. Basically what it's doing, it's pulling off of this website back here. But you notice that all of a sudden, oh, hey, it hits the Thursday date, and we're starting to get valid arrivals. And then it's... There we go. I had to start it back up by pressing enter. So as you can tell, it's pulling the pages and everything. Now, the other way of doing this, I'm going to show you. As you see, we have 554 flights and arrivals for yesterday, Thursday. Basically, the best time to run this scrapper is around like midnight to 1 a.m. Eastern. Otherwise, this tends to happen because the airport is still currently being in use, per se. So it still has like a lot of pending flights and stuff to arrive and depart. This thing's taking forever. But once this gets done and everything, I will show you the other method of doing it. Okay, as you see right here, we have two files now saying arrival and departures. Well, let's open them up. Okay, so it's neatly in a text format for arrivals and departures. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to select arrivals, where it says select arrival files. We're going to click on this. We're going to say open. We're going to select departures. We're going to say open. All right, so the airplane database we want on the live database, basically real world. And then we can tell the program to ignore missing libraries, which is basically the outside color shell coding, like Delta shell coding or whatnot on unknown aircraft that they might not have coded into the game yet. Or we can just skip these flights, whichever or. And this is the new option to the 0.96.3, is that, okay, so we can ignore flights with unknown airports and everything, or we can try to find the unknown airport info on the internet. Then it would update. That's where this option goes with it. You update the TS3 airport list and add missing airport. If you don't want to use your internet connection to try to find the unknown airport, then you can hit the ignore flights with unknown airports and then replace missing airports with the closest airport from the Tower Simulator 3 database. I use the default options, which updates the TS3 airport list for me. So we're going to hit Analyze File. As you see, we have KGAI that was added into the Tower Simulator 3 list, so that was a missing airport. And if we come here, we see we have missing airlines. GA1's affected, 2 flights. And it's basically this one, which is Gulf Alpha Juliet. We have 7 missing airplanes, which is affecting 457 flights. We have 1 livery missing, and that's off of an Air Canada. At this point where it's only 1 missing, I don't really care about that. It's a white plane going down a runway. We're moving 10 anyways. So what we're going to do here then is generate mapping file templates. We're going to overwrite the one that I have here. So that way, basically, now we exit out of here. We're going to exit out of this. The reason why I have Flight Aware up in the background. So let's do this. Let's do new. Text document. And we're going to type LGA underscore arrival underscore, and then we're going to put it at 22323. Basically, we're going to open this up. Now that we have that opened up, we're going to minimize that screen. We're going to go to our Flight Aware. So basically, we are looking for Thursdays. Well, this is if you don't have the scrapper. So we're going to click on Arrivals, Airlines, and we're going to click Next, 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 Next. We're going to try to find Thursdays. And this is what the scrapper does for you automatically. And I hope Wolf does get it up and running here soon. But, okay. So, Thursday starts right here at Dallas-Fort Worth. We're going to take all this. We're going to sit here and click Copy. And then we're going to paste it. And we're going to do that for all the flights for LaGuardia that happened on Thursday. Or if you know it got kind of hectic earlier in the day, you could actually use... So it looks like it was very hectic around... Let's say 9:30, or starting around like 9 or 9:30, 6:30 this morning. It kind of started to pick up a little bit. So we can select all this, copy it, just delete this for the time being, and then we're going to hit Control-V to paste it, and we're going to do that for every known flight so far. But let's say we just want to play like a little 2-hour segment. So we're doing, let's say 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So we're going to select all this up until this point. Copy. Make sure that it goes down to the next line. Copy paste. And you're going to do the same for the departures as well. We are not going to save that. So basically, when you do departures, you're going to click on departures, airlines, and then copy and paste to your heart's content on that guy. All right. So we're going back now to our filing. So let's open everything up again. Let's open up the scheduler, because we're still going to need this. We're just going to leave it at this screen, though. Now we're going to go into the Autoscraper. Here we're going to open up our mappings file. Basically what the mappings tells us, it gives us airplanes to basically change in here. Can I put you behind here? Yes, I can. Okay. So we need to find this call sign first. So basically that's a GA file. So we want to hit Control Find or Control F. We want to search for GAJ. All right, so there that is. All right, as you can tell, it's a B350. Well, what does this tell us here? B350, possible matches that we can use from the game files is either B38M or B39M. So we're going to put this as a B38M. So now that should take care of this. And basically what we want to do is when the GA file is created, we want to make sure that this goes into the GA file. Sometimes they do come up missing. I am going to tell you that right out the gate. Sometimes they do. All right, so now let's go back to the top of the document. What we want to do here now is find every 350 possible. So we're going to type in B350. And we are going to find our first. Okay, so apparently there is no more B350, so it was on that general aviation call sign. All right, so that's good. As you see, the game doesn't recognize B737s. So we're going to go in here, B737. And this is the more tedious process. As you can tell, I already can see one right out the gate, but it doesn't go to it. Interesting. So I guess it goes where my cursor was. Good job, Notepad. So, B37. Let's go right here to the first one. Okay, so we notice that it's a Southwest. This is where the databases and going into the original file. Actually, no, we don't go into databases. We actually come out of that and we go to airplanes. And then we click on Nigeria's designs. And we try to search for Southwest. So the best way to do this is SAW, just put in the call sign, and it brings up all the Southwest files. So you can tell the libraries that it has for. So it has libraries for a B737 wide, a B737 heavy, and a B733. And also the B38Ms and 39M. So we want to try to get this as close to a B737. I normally, if the heavy is available, or the B30 or the B73H is available, I just change it to that. So now, what I do here is I'll do SAW, and I'll find all the Southwest and change every single one of them to the H. All right, that's a B38M, so we already know that one's legit. That's another B38M. That one's also legit. All right, there's the 738. Now, the 738 is legit, I do believe. Or no, it's not. It's not legit. As you can tell over here, it's not. So, what I tend to do with the 738s, I tend to go with the B737 wide, I believe is what it stands for. Wide and heavy. The W and H on these guys. So I'll put a wide body on this. All right. There's another one. H. And then you'll do this for basically every aircraft possible. This is the tedious part of the autoscheduler, is when you're importing everything. Because basically you have to do this for both arrivals and departures. I'm just going to do that a little bit because otherwise this is going to take me forever and a day. We want to just save it. All right, I'm going to back out, but you kind of get the gist of things of what you got to do with the autoscheduler. So we're going to go back into here. We're going to click LGA. Go back to the MW Schedule. Read original. All right, and we're going to go back to the import. Select those files again. Arrival. Departure. Analyze it. Okay, so I changed some flights, so now we have 661 valid flights remaining. If you're happy with that, just click Generate Schedule. And now your schedule is generated. You can close this by either hitting the X or the close button. And now you see the schedule for Thursday. That's the original. And now this is the live schedule that has 60 some odd flights. And I will talk to you guys later. Food is here. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Discord, as well if you're in the Field Air server. Thanks and have a wonderful day.